Welcome back to JB Reviews. I have a 2023 Silverado on my right, which has the 5.3 liter V8, and on the left of it, I have a 2023 with a 3 liter diesel. So I mean inline-six. And the question I have is, why do people want to see the end of the diesel era? It doesn't make sense to me, and I'm going to prove it to you in this video. Let's get started. Special shout out to Jerry Seiner here in Salt Lake City. They do have a Chevy, Cadillac, and Kia franchise here, so if you're on the market, be sure to give these guys a look up and let them know you saw this video. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to drive this gas V8 first because I know the outcome to this, and I just want to make a point, like I always do in all my videos. Let's get into it. Alrighty, so we're going to go ahead and reset the fuel mileage in the same spot, and we'll stop in the same spot. So let me go ahead and figure out how to do it on this truck. So actually it's already reset for me. Actually, let's do the trip. I'm gonna do the trip one here. Reset, yes, let's go. One thing I don't like about the new Chevys, and I'll be completely honest, is you have to put the seatbelt on even if you're just riding around the lot or around your neighborhood or something like that. That's the only thing I don't really care for. They just sold that Z06 Corvette 2 here at Jerry Seiner. They look so nice. I'll show you guys a picture of it. But I am definitely excited to drive this 5.3 and then drive the 3 liter diesel right behind it. This is very, very important to me because I want to prove a point. Like, diesel should not be like something that people hate. This is the best engine, and I don't know why they haven't caught traction over the years. So I'll take it easy for the first few miles. The truck is warmed up. I did let it sit for about 2-3 minutes there. And these gas engines, they take no time at all to heat up, which is a advantage over the diesel. The diesel does take a little bit more time because normally you have to be rolling and going for them to actually get up to operating temperature. So we're on the highway and I'm pretty much at 65 miles an hour. We're gonna probably get up to about 75. Let's see where we're gonna go actually. Let's go this way. Let's go 15 south. I'm still learning my way around here in Utah, but we've only driven a mile so far. I'm going 70 miles an hour. I wish I knew what gear I was in. It doesn't show that to you here. Let me put it in manual mode and see if it does. Okay, so it still doesn't show you what gear you're in. That's the only thing I don't like about GM pickups. I wish they would change that. But besides that, this truck is definitely really fun to drive. Like, the Trail Boss, it feels a little bit more sportier. I don't know how to explain it. These tires do have a little bit of noise, but it's not bad. You just have a little bit more knobbier tires, so you're gonna have a little bit of noise from that. But overall, like, it's just really fun to drive, easy. The steering feels pretty moderately tight at the higher speeds. And let's see, I'm at about 1,500 RPMs, a little bit over 1,500 RPMs. That's 66 miles an hour. Now I'm at 75 and running probably about, what was that, about 1,800 RPMs, I think? About 1,800 RPMs. Not bad at all. Maybe about 1,700 RPMs actually, now that I think about it. Don't get me wrong, the gas engine is a great alternative competitor against the diesel. The only thing I don't like about the gas is fuel. You know, gas fuel is not as efficient as diesel, so you're gonna get less fuel economy because of that. And the only way a gas engine can really compete with a diesel is if they do a hybrid. So normally you don't see stop-start functions on diesels because it's not good for diesels to be started and stopped. So you do have a stop-start function on the Duramax diesel, which I don't recommend using. I would probably just turn it off, which they do allow you to turn it off. So if you do a lot of city driving, I probably would disable that personally. So far, we've driven about 4.5 miles. I'm getting 15 MPG. I'm averaging about 50 miles an hour. I'm going 75. We'll probably go another couple miles down the road here
because I want to get at least 7 or 8 miles, and I'll turn back around, and I'll do the exact same thing for the diesel too.
Believe it or not, the LT Trail Boss does not come standard with this engine, so you do have to pay extra for it. So keep that in mind if you are thinking about getting a diesel. The 2.7 liter does come standard, but this one's going to have 355 horsepower, 383 pound-feet of torque, so it does not have as much torque as the 2.7 liter, but it is made it to 10 speed, and I am interested to see just how well it does up against the 3 liter diesel.
One thing that I've noticed, you know, between buying a new GM truck and because it has the factory wheels, I always recommend running at higher PSIs. I feel like a little bit of body roll with this truck, and I think it's because the tire pressure is probably not at max. And of course that's cold, so you have to, you know, add that air, you know, at a specific time. But yeah, the tires are at 41 basically average, and I think max is 50 on this truck. So I recommend just running it at max PSIs for a little bit better drive. Now, as far as the fuel economy goes, we've driven about 7.8 miles. We're at 16 and a half. That ain't bad. Now, this has mostly been highway driving. We've been driving about 72 to, I think, 73 miles an hour. We've been driving for 8 miles. I'm going to start making my way back to the dealership now. We're going to get off here. We got to remember 297. 297 is where we got off at. And we've been averaging about 58.6 miles on this drive too. So we're just gonna coast down. So 297, and then this is gonna be the loop here basically. So luckily we did not get caught by the light, and so all we're gonna do is just make a U-turn. This is the perfect spot to do this test too. So we're gonna head back to the dealership, and here's where we are. So 17 and a half MPG. That is not bad. 17.2. Not bad. So once we get up to about 70, we'll probably get down to about 16.8 maybe. I will have to show you guys some acceleration. I just got to find a perfect spot to do it in because there's a lot of traffic today. So we're gonna get up to about 75 again. And there we are. Alright, so I'm going to set the cruise at 70, then I'm going to accelerate for you guys. I know this is a high speed, but this is the best place to do it at. So, acceleration. So, as I said, this 5.3 is really stout in terms of performance. Like, it does not lag behind the others. And I think putting more gears behind it really did make it so much better. Like, I'm really impressed by this engine. It's been a while since they've updated it, and you can't really tell. And that did not affect the fuel economy at all. Man, I might have put my foot in my mouth. This truck is doing great for the fuel mileage. 17.3, averaging about 60 miles an hour. Not bad at all.
Alright, so here are the numbers for this Silverado. It's going to have a 7,100 pound GVWR. And then here's the payload. It's going to be 1,815 pounds. And it has a max tow of 9,300 pounds.
Overall comfort in the Trail Boss is definitely a little bit lacking in comparison to the others for some reason. I think it's probably more or less the tires. I think these tires have a little bit more noise, as I mentioned. And they're a little bit more bumpier too. I feel like this suspension just feels a little bit more rugged. And it does have a 2-inch lift compared to the regular Silverado, so that's going to hurt the ride a little bit too. But I love the new interior. This interior just, I actually feel right at home in this pickup. I cannot wait until I can get a refresh HD in the future. I'm going to be ordering one here soon. But yeah, this definitely feels super nice. Really nice. Easy to maneuver. The steering is really nicely weighted too. Brakes aren't too touchy. I think the brakes actually are perfect. I like the brakes on my GMC Sierra HD too. But we're almost back at the dealership. We'll probably be there in like 3 minutes. I gotta jump over here actually. That's one thing about Salt Lake City. You better know what lane you're supposed to be in because people will not let you over. Kind of like how it is in Maryland. And we're at 18.2 MPG. Man, this is really good. Sheesh. And we've been averaging about 63 miles an hour, 15.5 miles. And we probably got like another 2 miles to go here. Wow. 18.7 MPGs. I'll show you guys where we're gonna stop at right here. So this is the stopping point right here. So we drove 17.8 miles, got 18.7 MPG, and averaged about 58.4 miles. That's not good. That diesel's gonna have to do really good to compete here. Alrighty, so the diesel is not quite warmed up yet, but it's getting there. I'm gonna go ahead and reset it, and we're gonna go ahead and start though, because I don't want to run out of sunlight here. But already, I could feel a difference in how this truck feels overall. Like, it feels a little heavier. I don't know if you guys know this, but they do change the GVWR for the diesels because it has more components, so it's gonna lose a little bit of payload, so that's why they increase the GVWR. But oh man, there's something about a diesel engine, I'm telling you. It just, I don't know what it is. Something about a diesel. But we're gonna go ahead and get down the road. I didn't mention this in the last drive, but I didn't have the AC or heat on or anything like that, so I'm gonna do the same thing in this pickup. And yeah, let's go ahead and get on the highway. Let's see how this thing's gonna do. Yeah, these Wrangler tires do have a little bit of noise to them, just a little bit. It's not bad though. If you turn the radio on, you'll never hear it. I ordered a Ford F-350 and I'm planning to order a Chevy Silverado 6.6 liter gas. And I'm gonna have second thoughts, man. Like this is me right here. I love the diesel. It's so nice. It's a little bit quieter. It just feels more refined too. Like, I can't even begin to tell you just how happy I am to be inside of a diesel truck. I just wish there wasn't so much emission stuff. And if you don't know, they did update this diesel too, so it's a little bit refreshed, probably a little bit more reliable. Man, look at those RPMs. I'm not even quite over 1500 RPMs right now. Now, I was at that light for a little bit longer than the 5.3 was, but it doesn't really matter. I think this will make up for it on the highway here. But the steering on this one is about the same. It has like that same weighted feel. And I don't know, this one doesn't feel like it's, well, okay, never mind, it's right there. There's a little bit of sway. Like I said, just air up the tires. This tire pressure's at 39 actually on the fronts and 38 on the rear, so yeah, I would definitely change that for sure. We're at 14.9 MPG at 2 miles driven so far. We're gonna get up at 297 as we did earlier, but I'm really enjoying driving this diesel. Like, it's a different experience. Diesels aren't as loud either, so I don't hear as much noise in the cabin too. Look at that. The diesel's like too easy. Too easy. Wow, it's just climbing. It is just climbing. Whoa. Man, it is no joke. Now, traffic is a little bit heavier right now, so I'm going with the pace of traffic. I'm not trying to cheat here, I promise you. I do not care to cheat. But yeah, look at that. This is no comparison. This is gonna probably end off around 23, 24. And I guarantee you, if you go on a long trip with both of these trucks, I bet you that diesel probably would get 25, 26 easily.
All I can say is support your Duramax diesel inline-six. That's all I'm going to tell you. Support this engine. This thing has been updated for 2023. It's going to have 305 horsepower, 495 pound-feet of torque, big power, and as you guys know, diesels get that power down low too, and this is no exception to that. Now, they did increase the horsepower by 28 horsepower and 35 pound-feet of torque, so That's a nice sizable increase. So they did change the injectors, the pistons, and the turbo a little bit. And so that's why they were able to get a little bit more power out of this powertrain. Made it to a 10-speed transmission, and this has that 323 rear axle, just like that gas V8 did.
If I were in the market for a trail boss, and I got a chance to pick between the 5.3, the 6.2, and the 3-liter diesel, it would be between the 6.2 liter and the 3-liter. As I mentioned, this does have an inline-six design, so it doesn't need harmonic balancers and things like that. And I really do believe that GM wants this engine to live a long time. And I'm hoping that dealers, I'm hoping that customers order these, you know, Silverados, Tahoes, Yukons, Sierras with this engine, because this is such a great performing setup here. Has a 323 rear axle, so it's going to really be good on fuel economy. And yeah, I mean, it can tow well too. It also has an exhaust brake, so when you turn on tow haul mode, it turns on the exhaust brake too. So that's a really nice feature to have if you do plan on towing a trailer with this pickup.
The diesel is showing off right now. I'm telling you, it is showing off. Like, check that out. And listen, I'm serious when I say this. I'm not doing anything special. I'm just driving them exactly the same. Now, I am going a little bit slower than I was earlier because there's just a little bit more traffic, as I mentioned, on the road. So I can't, you know, obviously go much faster than 75 miles an hour. But that's about what I was doing with the 5.3. I was doing about 75 miles an hour. It was just a little bit more consistent. I'm having to back off every once in a while because of traffic. But let me go ahead and get over because my exit is coming up here. But yeah, we're already at 20. Man, this is over, man. This is game over for the gas engine. I don't know why people don't like diesel. Like, this is the way to go. Fuel mileage is just, it's just no contest. It really isn't. All right, we just got off at 297. We're just coasting down. Man, oh man, oh man. The diesel is showing off. Now, I did not catch this light with the gas truck. And remember, the gas truck had the auto stop start too. Because this truck wasn't as warm, the truck was running at the last light. So it might turn on now because it is warmed up now. But let's see if it comes on. Nope, didn't come on. But it doesn't matter because it's already beat the gas engine and it's going to get better on the way back. So yeah, 22.9. I don't remember where we were at this point, but I think we were like around like 17, like 17 and a half. That's that's almost what? It's a little bit over 5 miles to the gallon better. Just saying.
We dropped down to about 21.2 miles to the gallon. And yeah, we're headed back the other way. I'm going to show you guys a little bit of acceleration here in a second too. Let me just get over to the left lane. I'm going to have to drop down to about 70 miles an hour at some point too. That way it's apples to apples. But yeah, this is such a great pickup, guys. The RPMs at 75 miles an hour, it's like around, it's about the same. It's about 1800 RPM. So it's no difference, but they have the same rear end. They have the same gearing in the transmission, most likely. So yeah, it's just diesel fuel is just more efficient than gas. That's why you're going to get better fuel economy on the highway. Even in the city, this thing gets 21. It's no comparison whatsoever. The only problem is diesel is so expensive. That's the only issue. But let me go ahead and drop down to 70 here. I'm going to show you guys some acceleration from 70 to about 80.
Now here we go. Yeah, as I mentioned, this truck is definitely a little bit slower in acceleration, but off the line, this truck would punish the gas engine up to about 40 to 50 miles an hour. Then the gas engine will probably kick in and start walking it down because this thing is a torque monster.
Now, as far as the tow numbers go for this one, this is going to have a 7,200 pound GVWR because of the diesel. So they give you an extra 100 pounds. And here are the tow numbers. This is going to have a little bit lower payload at 1,601 pounds.
Yeah, this was a cakewalk. this was a cakewalk. It's 46 degrees outside, right? And we're at 23.8 MPG. We're not there yet. We haven't even stopped. So we're going to have to coast for a little bit too. So I'll probably get over 24 here in a second. And yeah, we're at 23.9, 16.7 miles driven. It's a cakewalk. That's why I don't understand why people don't like diesels. Like, this is the way to go. I mean, you're getting 5 miles a gallon better. And this diesel option is not that expensive either. It's not expensive at all. I'll put the price here for you. But we're about to pretty much coast down to this light. And yeah, actually the light's red too, so we're gonna have to stop again. So we had more stops compared to the 5.3 gas. I want you to keep that in mind. We're at 24 and a half. Like, I'm telling you, no one can hate on this engine. This is the best one out there. If you want the best performance available and the best MPG, if you do a lot of highway driving, this is the way to go. Insane. Alright, we're pulling back in, and we are basically at 24.4 miles. That is incredible. It's about the same mileage too, I believe, too. And then we finished off about 18 and something. Yeah. We're not there yet though. Wow. So this is where we stopped at last time, right next to this little Chevy Cruze. There it is. 24.3 MPG, and I think there was a little bit of juice left in there too. If I would have extended this trip probably another 5 miles, I bet you would have got 25, 26. Guarantee it.
So I hope I proved the point there. Even though the gas engine is a cheaper option, I think long term this is going to be a fuel saving monster for you, especially on the highway. If you do a lot of highway driving, if you do a little bit of towing, this is what I would choose. As I said, you have an exhaust brake, and I just think that it's a better overall engine, and it's quiet. Like, I don't remember hearing the engine at all. Even when I accelerated, I don't remember hearing it. So I hope this video is helpful for you. I hope you learned something. Get a diesel is all I'm going to tell you. You see that little symbol right there? You see, when you see Duramax, that's what you want right there. Nothing against the gas engine. Everyone buys these, but this is what you should get right here. Special shout out to Seiner. They did allow me to do this video. They do have quite a few diesel Silverado half tons here. They have a lot of trucks actually too. So if you are in the market, be sure to give them a look up. But I'll see you guys soon.